Greetings to one and all. Myself Kishore, IoT engineer R&D team from Minion Labs. This is fifth episode of the webinar series on energy efficiency, which will happen every Fridays at the same timings, that is 4:30 to 5:30, presented by Minion Labs, along with its academic partner IIIC of Christ University. Today's webinar will be recorded and made available on YouTube and also Minion Labs website. And documented copies will be shared immediately soon after the today's program. So now let us take some time and recall what are all the topics that we have covered in the previous episode. So that's mainly into energy management. Energy management is a process by which a sector or an organization can effectively manage how much the energy they produce and how to control it, monitor it, conserve as much as energy that they can to meet the demand of the customers. So, and also we saw some of the shifts to renewable resources from the coal and then biogas to the solar energy, which is renewable resources, so that it will be useful for our long-term goals. And we also seen some of the real-time cases uh, where the energy management already implemented, and then a huge impact or huge savings from that. So energy demand in India is in demand in India is for over decades. It's been increasing very rapidly. That is maybe in some other 2 decades, that's 2040. The energy management and the energy consumption will be increased over 333%. So on we have learned four major principles of energy management. That is control the cost of energy function, control energy function as a product cost, control and meter only main functions. Major effort of last principle is effort of an energy management program should be put in installing control and achieving results. So that's where the fourth principle is mainly it's very important into. And we have also seen the block diagram and the flow of its, that is energy policy. After noting down all the policies, go to energy planning and then implementation. It will be recycled, right? After implementation, if any damages or happened, or any wrong way of implementations happened, it will be renewed and then make policies again, plan again, and then implement again. So we have seen the Energy Conservation Act from BWE in 2001. What all are the schemes they came up with? The one of the major scheme is demand side management scheme, and they also came up with the four initiatives, that is perform, achieve, and trade, energy efficiency financing platform, marketing transportation for energy efficiency, and framework for energy efficiency in terms of economic development. And we have seen some three aspects from the initiatives. From the EMS implementations, that is economic aspects of EMS implementation, the operator interface and intelligent applications, power system security of EMS implementation. So now we also seen this energy statistics in India over a period. So whereas private sector consumes high amount of energy, so the main focus of EMS should be on private sector, obviously. So we also seen smart EMS. What is smart EMS? It's a smart grid of a system to add monitoring, management, control, and communication capabilities to the national electrical delivery infrastructure to move electricity around the system as efficiently and economically as possible. So the major technologies used in SMES are advanced metering infrastructure, distribution management system, geographic information system, outage management system, intelligent electronic devices, wide area management systems. So there are some of the barriers to implement EMS in India. What are all those barriers? And it shouldn't be there. These should be avoided. So that is project funding. So this is the one of the major barrier. So that's why EMS in India is still lacking behind. And payback payload, tax pit incentives, lack of knowledge, availability of technology, price and trends. And we also seen some of the advantages and disadvantages of EMS again. So coming to today's topic, today's episode, we'll try to understand what is IoT and how is IoT is useful in electricity and energy resources, that is energy sectors. So yeah, IoT and energy sector. Integration of renewable energy and optimization of energy use as a key enablers of the sustainability energy transition and mitigating climate change. So, one of like some of the modern technologies such as IoT offers a wide number of application in energy sector, especially in energy supply, transmission and distribution and demand. IoT can be employed for improving energy efficiency, increase the share of renewable energy. So, increase the tracking, basically our tracking of renewable energy, where all it's distributed, where all it's environmental impacts of energy use. Furthermore, enabling technologies of IoT, including cloud computing and different platforms for data analytics like ML and AI algorithms, challenges of deploying IoT in the energy sector, including privacy and security, with some solution of these challenges such as blockchain technologies. This is a major challenge in implementing an IoT in a real-time use cases. So this survey provides energy policy makers, energy economists, and managers with an overview of role of IoT optimization for the energy systems or energy sectors. The global energy demand rose by 2.3% in 2018 compared to 2017. So over a years, it's rising from 2018 to 19. It's increased more. That is 5%. 19 to 20 even more, 7%. So it's increasing by 2025. The energy demand will be the like peakest with all the things which we can't be manageable with the conventional methods. So which again, if this trends, if it continues, it's again lead to global warming, which exceeds the two degree target, 2 degrees Celsius of target, which will have severe impact on the planet pollution, scarcity of water resources for the thermal power generation, and limitation of these fossil fuels also. So based on United Nations Sustainability Development Goals agenda, energy efficiency is one of the key drivers for sustainable development. Moreover, energy efficiency offers economic benefits in the long term by reducing the cost of fossil imports and supply. Energy generation and reducing emissions from the energy sector is more important here. So the energy supply chain from resources extraction to delivering it in a useful form to the end users includes three main parts. That is energy supply including upstream refinery process, energy transport transformation processes including transmission and distribution, that is T&D. These are also called as energy carriers. Energy demand side, which includes the use of energy in building, transportation sector and the industry. So IoT to an efficient use of energy. That reduction of energy demand and increasing the share of rests. So if you see in the supply chain management, the extraction and treatment, which extraction treatment, primary energy supply, where the import and export stock exchange happens. This is totally this should be a complete secured database. So where IoT makes a major role here, and transform of energy and then consumption of energy as well. So to reduce the energy losses, to confirm like to conversion of the technology is the main factor, and T&D again. So IoT employs sensors and communication technology for sensing and transmitting real-time data, which enables fast computation and optimal decision making. Moreover, IoT can help the energy sector to transform from centralized to distributed, smart and integrated energy systems. This is a key requirement in deploying local distributed RES such as wind and solar energy, as well as turning many small scale end users of energy into prosumers. That is, they can both produce and then consume. That's a owner having a solar is also producing energy and also consuming it. Those are called prosumers by aggregating their generation and optimizing their demand whenever useful for the grid. IoT-based systems automate, integrate, and control process through sensors and communication technologies. Large data collection and use of intelligent algorithms for real-time data analytics can help to monitor energy consumption pattern in real time of different users and devices in different time scales and control the consumption more efficiently. So before getting deeper into this application, so we'll try to understand some of the basic concepts like what is exactly what do you mean by IoT. So this is what everything you need to know about Internet of Things. So the Internet of Things or IoT refers to a billion of physical devices around the world that are connected to the internet. It's simple as all collecting and sharing data. So thanks to arrival of super cheap computers, chips, and then it's very wireless networks and all, it is possible to turn everything from anywhere for something as small as a pill of like it's a pill of something to a big of airplane data. Everything can be collected in a single platform and anywhere it can be transferred. So connecting up all these different objects and adding sensors to them adds a level of digital intelligence to the device that would be otherwise dumb, enabling them to communicate real-time data without involving a human being. So like human can make errors, but machine don't. The Internet of Things is making the fabric of the world around us to more smarter, more responsive, merging the digital and physical universe. So, examples of Internet of Things, like what is Internet of Things devices? That's basically also called as endpoints, like sensors and actuators, or like any data giving uh, devices or objects. Pretty much any physical object can be transformed into an IoT device if it can be connected to the internet to control or communicated information. Like a light bulb that can be switched on using a smartphone is an IoT device again. As a motion sensor or a smart thermostat in your office or connected to the street light. An IoT device could be a full fly as a child's toy or as serious as driverless truck, that is Tesla. Some larger objects may themselves be filled with smaller IoT components, such as jet engine that's now filled with the thousands of sensors collecting and transmitting data back to back to make sure it is operating efficiently and then more operational. So at an every big scales, small cities projects are filling entire region with sensors to help us understand and control the environment. So the term IoT is mainly used for the devices that wouldn't usually be generally expected to have an internet connection and that can communicate with the network independently of a human action. For this reason, a PC isn't generally considered as an IoT device or neither a smartphone. So even though latter are crammed with the sensors, a smartwatch or a fitness band or other wearable devices might be counted as IoT devices. So history of Internet of Things. So if you can see in this picture, there was only a basic companies like only were like few companies that were into these smart devices. So the name still not came up in 1992 as a IoT. but it was there. Some companies were using some devices like to enable the smart process and all. So over a decade or 2 decades, it's drastically increased. The billions of IoT sensors and devices came into the market. So the idea of adding sensors and intelligence to the basic objects was discussed throughout 1980s and 1990s. But apart from some earlier projects, including our internet connected vending machine, program was slow simply because the technology wasn't ready. Chips were too big and bulky, and there was no way for objects to communicate effectively. Uh, Processors that were cheap and powerful enough enough to be all disposable were needed before it finally became cost effective to connect up billions of devices. The adoption of RFID tags, low power chips that can communicate wirelessly, solved some of the issues along with the increasing availability of broadband internet and cellular and wireless networking. So it's mutual. The adoption of IPv6, which among other things should be enough for IP addresses for every device in the world, is ever likely to need, was also a necessary step for the IoT to scale. So each individual appliances that are connected to the internet have each unique IP addresses. So Kevin Austin coined the phrase IoT of that's Internet of Things in 1999. Although it took at least another decade for technology to catch up with this mission. Anyway, the IoT integrates the interconnectedness of human culture are things with the interconnectedness of our digital information system, that is internet. That's the IoT. Adding RFID tags to expensive pieces of equipment to help to track the location was one of the first IoT applications. But since then, the cost of adding sensors and internet connection to the object to be continued to fall, and expert predicts that the basic functionality could one day cost as little as 10 cents. So now, if you see, it's already that the all the IoT devices, the price is drastically reducing from the processors to the endpoint or sensors. And the IoT was initially most interesting to the businesses and manufacturing, where its application is sometimes known as machine to machine. Though it's only restricted to the business and manufacturing, not household or any private consumption. But the emphasis is now on filling our homes also and also offices with the smart device, transforming it into something that's relevant to almost everywhere and to reach almost everyone. Early suggestion for internet connected devices, including objects, that is blog objects that blog and record data about themselves to the internet, invisible computing, and free computing. So, however, it was the Internet of Things and IoT that stuck. So after hearing the billions of devices, so one question arises: how big the IoT? How big is the Internet of Things? So if you see in this, like the products in the endpoints in terms of a billion of units, so the utilities comes in the first place. From past 3 to 4 years, the utility it's 1.37 billion units of IoT endpoints. That is, it can be a sensors again or actuators or data giving devices or something. Next, government is using, and then building automation comes into picture. So big and getting bigger, there are already more connected things than people in the world. True. Tech analyst company like IDC predicts that in total there will be 41.6 billion devices connected, like billion IoT connected devices by 2025, or it's also called as things. It also suggests industrial and automotive equipment like represent the large opportunity of the connected things, but it also sees strong adoption of smart home and wearable devices in near term. We are already seeing like it's like most of the apartments are coming into the smart, and then most of the wearable watches are getting into the smarter way, where it's connected to your phone always and track all your activities. Another tech analyst, his name is Grantner, predicts that the enterprise and automotive sectors will account for 5.8 billion devices like this particular year, that is 2020, like last year, sorry, up almost a quarter in 2019. Utilities will be a highest user of IoT. Like I said, utility is one of the highest users of IoT, thanks to continuing the rollout of smart meters. Smart meters, yeah. So due to smart meters, like utility is like considering more sensing devices than other sectors. So security devices in the form of intruder detection and web cameras will be the second biggest use of IoT devices. So every house has surveillance camera, security camera, like it's one of the most important in the terms. Building automation again, like connected lightnings will be fastest growing sector, followed by automotive cars, that is Tesla, and healthcare, that is smart monitoring, smart health monitoring systems. So what all can be the benefits of IoT for businesses? So these are the major fields, that is first comes to construction. Construction again, it includes all these utility, home automation, hospital automations, etc. So rest others. It has the major part in the IoT. So the benefit of the IoT for businesses depend on the particular implementation. It can be okay. The idea is that enterprises should have access to more data about their own products and their internal systems, and a greater ability to make changes as a result. So, manufacturers are adding sensors to the components of their products so that they can transmit data back about how they are performing. So instead of revisiting the place after installing a something, instead of revisiting place every time to check the performance or regular basis, just connect a some IoT sensors which give you the data without presence of you, so that you can sit in an office and you can monitor everything. This can help the companies spot when a component is likely to fail or to swap it before it causes damage. So it can be a predictable also. So you can predict if either the device is like going to be wrong in coming days or something. So companies can also use the data generated by these sensors to make their system and their supply chains more efficient, because they have much more accurate data about what's really going on. That's real-time data. With the introduction of comprehensive real-time data collection and analysis, production system can become dramatically more responsive. Enterprise use of IoT can be divided into two major segments basically. Industry specific offering like sensors in a generating plant or real-time location devices for healthcare, and IoT devices that can be used in all industries like smart air conditioner or security systems, etc. So while industry specific products will make the early running by 2020, Grantner predicts that cross industry revolution devices which reach 4.4 billion units, while vertical specific devices will amount to 3.2 billion units. Consumers purchase more devices, but businesses spend more. The analyst group said that while consumer spending on IoT devices was around $725 billion last year, so that it was likely to hit 964 or around $1 trillion by this year. So by 2021, businesses and consumers spending on IoT hardware will hit nearly, by end of 2021, it hit nearly 3 to 3.5 trillion dollars. So worldwide spending on IoT was forecast to reach 745 billion in 2019 and increase over 15.4% over to from compared to 2018. So for compared to 2018, for 2021, it will be almost a 60% increase in spending on like worldwide for these IoT devices. So top industries for IoT were predicted to discrete manufacturing, process manufacturing, transportation, and utilities. So these are all the main spendings. So for manufacturers, projects to support asset management will be the key. So in transportation, it will be a freight monitoring or fleet management taking top priority. So IoT spending in the utility industries will be dominated by the smart grids projects for electricity, gas, and water metering. So consumer IoT spending was predicted to hit $108 billion, making it the second largest industry segment. Like smart home, personal wellness, and connected vehicle information collections. So by use case manufacturing operations, production asset management, smart home, and freight monitoring will be the largest areas of investment in IoT devices. Then it comes to industrial Internet of Things, that is IIoT, that is Industry 4.0. So now we'll briefly look into this. Maybe in next episode we'll try to get deeper into this. It's one of the interesting topic and then like very emerging and booming topic also. The Internet of the Industrial Internet of Things, that is IIoT, or Fourth Industrial Revolution or Industry 4.0 are all the names given to use this IoT technology in business settings. The concept is the same as the consumer IoT devices in the home, but in this case, the aim is to use combination of sensors, wireless networks, big data, AI, and analytics to measure and optimize industrial process. If introduced across an entire supply chain rather than just individual companies, the impact could be even greater with just-in-time delivery of materials and management of production from start to finish. Increasing workforce productivity or cost savings are two potential aims. But IIoT can also create a new revenue streams for businesses. Rather than just selling a standalone product, for example, like an engine, manufacturers can also sell predictive maintenance of the engine. So that deeper the IoT devices takes into. So what are all the benefits for consumers in terms of IoT? IoT promises to make our environment, our homes and offices and vehicles smarter, more measurable and charitable. Smart speakers like Amazon Echo Dot and Google Home Mini or Google Home make it easier to play music, set timers or get information. It's just a voice assistant. Home security systems make it easier to monitor what's going on inside and outside or to see and talk to visitors. Meanwhile, smart thermostats can help us heat our home before we arrive back, and smart light bulbs can make it look like we are in home even when we are out. So to make the ambient more into some mood. Looking behind the home, sensors can help us understand how noisy or polluted our environment might be. Self-driving cars and smart cities could how can we build and manage our public spaces? However, many of these innovations could have major implications for our personal privacy. So Internet things and smart homes. So for it's again comes under consumers. So for consumers, the smart home is probably where they are likely to come into the contact with the internet enabled things. And it's one of the area which big in tech companies like Amazon, Google and Apple are the competing hard leaders. The most obvious of these are like smart speaker like Amazon Echo, like we discussed, but there are also smart plugs, smart light bulbs, cameras, thermostats, and much more smart grids. but as well as showing off their enthusiasm for shiny new gadgets, there's a more serious side of smart home application. They may be able to help the older people independent and in their own homes longer and make them easier for the family. So a better understanding of how our homes operate and ability to tweak those settings could help save energy by cutting heat costs, etc. So this is one of the crucial thing when it comes to IoT, that is Internet of Things security and privacy. Security is one of the big issue with the IoT. These sensors are collecting in many cases extremely sensitive data. What you can say and do in your home, for example, like keeping that secure is vital for consumer trust. But so far, IoT's security track record has been extremely poor. Like so many people, like the data, the privacy, like more sensitive data has leaked so many with the big companies as well. Too many IoT devices give little thought to basic of security like encrypting data in transit and also at rest. Flaws in software, even old and well-used code are discovered on the regular basis, but many IoT devices lack a capability to be patched, which means they are permanently at the risk. Hackers are now actively targeting IoT devices such as routers and webcams because their inherent lack of security makes them easy to compromise and roll up in a giant botnets. So flaws have left smart home devices like refrigerator, oven, and dishwashers open to hackers. Researchers found over a million, like 100K of webcams that could be hacked with ease. So it should be more secured at. While some internet connected smartwatches for children has been found to contain security vulnerabilities to allow hackers to track wearable locations, eavesdrops on conversations, or even communicate with the users. Government are like growing worried about these risks here. The UK government has published its own guidelines around the security of the consumer in terms of IoT devices. It expects a device to have unique password that companies will provide a public point of contact, so anyone can report a vulnerability and that and that these will be acted on, and the manufacturers will explicitly state how long the devices will get security updates. It's the modest list but a smart. So when the cost of making smart objects become negligible, these problems will become more widespread and intractable. So all of these applies in business as well. Sorry, but the stakes are even higher. Connecting industrial machinery to IoT networks increase the potential risk of hackers discovering and attacking these devices. Industrial or any destructive attack on a critical infrastructure are both potential risk. That means businesses will need to make sure that these networks are isolated and protected with the data encryption and the security of the sensors, gateway, and the components of accessibility. The current state of IoT technology make that harder to ensure. However, as there's a lack of consistent IoT security planning across all the organizations. That's very worrying. That's very worrying considering the documented willingness of an hackers to tamper with the industrial systems that have been connected to the internet but left unprotected. That's so like poor. The IoT bridges the gap between the digital world and the physical world, which means that hacking into devices can have dangerous real world consequences. Hacking into the sensors controlling the temperature in a power station could be a trick to operators into making like some wrong decisions. Taking control of driverless car could also end in a disaster. So yeah, how about the privacy and Internet of Things? So with all those sensors collecting data on everything you do, the IoT is potentially vast privacy and security headache. So take the smart home, it can tell when you wake up, when the coffee, like when the smart coffee machine is activated, and how will you brush the things. Thanks for smart toothbrushes. What radio station you listen to? Thanks for smart speaker again. What type of food you eat? Thanks for smart oven and fridge. What your children think? Thanks for smart toys. And who you visit and passes by your, thanks for smart doorbell. So while the companies will make money for selling you the smart objects in the first place, their IoT business model probably involves selling at least some of the data too, right? So what happens to the data is like quite important privacy matters. So not all smart home companies will build their business model around harvesting and selling your data, but some do. So like making like prevention should be there. And it's worth remembering that IoT data can be combined with other bits of data to create a surprisingly detailed picture of you. So its picture means it'll get all your behavioral activity in a day to day lifestyle. It's surprisingly easy to find out a lot about a person from a few different sensors reading. In one project, a researcher found that by analyzing the data charting just the home energy consumption, and carbon monoxide and carbon dioxide levels, temperature and humidity throughout the day, they could work out someone was having for a dinner. So that's so suspicious, right? Like this, so many. So IoT privacy in the businesses. So consumers need to understand the exchange they are making, or whether they are happy with it, and some of the same issues apply to the business as well. Would you executive think like have to happy to discuss a merger in a meeting room equipped with the smart speakers and cameras? For example, one recent survey found that 4 out of 5 companies would be unable to identify all the IoT devices on their network. So badly installed IoT products could easily open up corporate networks to attack by hackers or simply leak data. It might seem like a threat, but imagine if some smart locks at your office refuse to open one morning, or the smart weather station in the CEO's office was used by hackers to create a backdoor into your network. So that will be more dangerous. So potential security weaknesses and targets in different layers of IoT application. So coming to the edge layer, that is data of like where the data types and comes, and then IoT sensors and actuators things. So after that, security privacy is again in the gateways and smart edge devices, and in communication layer again, and then cloud layer, and also in applications layer. So the IoT and cyber warfare. The IoT makes computing physical. So if things go wrong with IoT devices, there can be a major real world consequences. Something that nation planning the cyber warfare strategies are now taking into account. US intelligence community briefs have this warned that the country's advertisers already have the ability to threaten its critical infrastructure as well as the broader ecosystem of connected consumer and industrial devices known as Internet of Things. US intelligence has also warned that connected thermostats, cameras, and cookers could also be used to spy on the citizens of another country or to cause havoc if they ever act. Adding key elements of national critical infrastructure like dams, bridges, and elements of the electricity grid to the IoT makes it even more vital that the security is as tight as possible, because that's the crucial thing, which a little affects the country, all affects that. So, like, what do you believe would be the most critical information lost consequences faced if your company became the target of cyber warfare? So, 37% loss of customer information already, and 33% loss of financial information, 31% loss of employees' personal information, again 31% loss of reputational damage, 30% business interruption, again loss of intellectual, loss of revenue, loss of product planning and services, legal fines, loss of C suits, etc. The Internet of Things and data. So it's mutual again. An IoT device will likely contain one or more sensors which it will be used to collect data. Just what those sensors are collecting will depend on the individual device and its tasks. Sensors inside industrial machineries might measure temperature or pressure. A security camera might have proximity sensor along with the sound and video, while your home weather station will probably be packing a humidity sensor. All these sensor data as much more will have to be sent somewhere, right? So that means IoT devices will need to transmit your data and will do it via Wi-Fi or 4G, 5G and more. So tech analyst from IDC calculates that within 5 years, IoT gadgets will be creating 79.4 zettabytes of data. So some of those IoT data will be small and bursty, says IDC. A quick update like temperature reading from a sensor or a reading from a smart meter. Other devices might create huge amount of data traffic like video surveillance camera using a computer vision. So IDC again said that amount of data created by IoT devices will grow rapidly in next few years. Most of the data is being generated by video surveillance. It said, but the other industrial and medical users will be generated data more and more over time. It says It said drones will also be a bigger driver of data creation using cameras. Looking further out, self-driving cars, it's already coming into the markets, will also generate vast amount of rich sensor data, including audio, video, as well as more specialized automotive sensors data. So, Internet of Things in big data analytics. So, the IoT generates vast amounts of data, huge, from sensors attached to machine parts or environment sensors, or the words which we shout at the smart speakers. That means IoT is significant driver of big data analytics projects because it allows companies to create vast data sets and analyze them. Giving a manufacturer vast amount of data about how its components behave in real world situation can help them to make improvements much more rapidly, while the data pulled from the sensors around a city could be help for planning to make a traffic flow more efficiently. So like data, using data in a good way, good terms. uh, that data will come in many different forms: voice request, video, temperature, or other sensor readings, all of which can be mined for in some insights. As analyst IDC notes, IoT metadata category is growing source of data and managed to be leveraged. So metadata is a prime candidate to be fed into new like SQL databases like MongoDB, etc., to bring the structured and unstructured contents over the data systems. So to make the device more intelligent and then to like outwardly random environments. So in particular, the IoT will deliver large amount of real-time data. Cisco calculates that M2M connections that supports IoT application will account for more than half of the total to 27.1 billion devices and connections, and will amount for approximately 5% of global IP traffic by 2021. So after collecting the data, it should sit somewhere, right? That's cloud, IoT, Internet of Things, and the cloud. So the huge amount of data that appliances generate means that many companies will choose to do their data processing in terms of cloud rather than a big amount of in-house capacity. So cloud computing giants were already like counting these companies. That is Microsoft, they have Azure suite, Amazon AWS services they have. In an IoT, providing a range of IoT services, hundreds of IoT services, and also Google Cloud does. So Internet of Things and smart cities. This is also one of the bigger topic. Now we'll just go through the brief. So meanwhile, in next episodes, we'll try to understand in detail. So by spreading a vast number of sensors over a town, planners can get a better idea of what's really happening in real time. As a result, smart city planners or projects are the key features of IoT. Cities already generate large amount of data and already contain big infrastructure networks. IoT projects aim to connect these up and then add further intelligence into the system. So there are plans to blanket Spain islands with an half million sensors and turn into an IoT lab for their project, like whole island as a IoT lab. For example, like one scheme could involve the regional social services department using the sensors to help the elderly, while other could identify if a beach has become too crowded and offer alternative to summers. In another example, AT&T is launching a service to monitor infrastructure such as bridges, roadways, railways with the LTE enabled sensors to monitor structural changes such as cracks or tilts. So Internet of Things with 5G connectivity. So it's one of the future broadband for IoT. So 5G promises to bring the reliability, latency, scalability, security, architecture, like in terms of architecture, services, edgeless computing, etc. So for the mobility to high speed data. So IoT devices use a variety of methods to connect and share data. Although most will use some form of wireless connectivity, right? Homes and offices will use standard Wi-Fi, Zigbee, or Bluetooth low power energy. Other devices will use some LTE models like or SIM-based systems, even satellite connectivities to communication. So 5G IoT devices, outdoor surveillance camera will be the largest market for 5G IoT devices in near coming terms. According to Granter, accounting for majority 70% of 5G IoT devices this year become dropping to around 30% by end of 2023. At the point they'll be overtaken by connected cars. So it's all coming to a connected car again. You can see in 2023, the connected cars highest volume and the market share. IoT data, IoT and artificial intelligence. Even this is one of the like large topic. Let's just discuss in brief again. So IoT devices generate vast amounts of data that might be information about an engine's temperature or any whether a door is open or closed or the readings from a smart meter, etc. All this IoT data has to be collected, stored, and analyzed. One way companies are making the most of these data is to feed into an artificial intelligence systems that will take the IoT data and use it to make predictions and actions instead of manual, like they are feeding into the AI systems. For example, Google has their own AI models. Google have put an AI in charge of its data center cooling systems. The AI uses data to be pulled from thousands of IoT sensors, which is fed into our deep neural networks and which predict how different choices will affect future energy consumption will be. So by using machine learning and AI, Google has been enabled to make its data centers more efficient and said the same technology could have uses in other industrial settings as well. So IoT evolutions. Sorry. Where does the IoT going to be in next few years? As price of sensors and communication continuously dropping down, it becomes cost effective to add more devices to an IoT based systems. Even if in some cases there's a little obvious benefit to the to the consumers, deployments are at an early stage. Most companies that they are engaging with the IoT are at the trial stage right now. So largely because the necessary technology, that is sensor based technology, 5G and machine learning powered analytics, etc. So as the number of connected devices continues continuously rise, our living and working environment becomes like fulfilled with smart products. So assuming we are all willing to aspect the security and privacy trade-offs. So some will welcome the new era of smart system. Others will pine for days when the chair was simplified into a smart chair. So these are the some of the like common use cases in in a real world. It's based on IoT technology. That is the food cold chain, the fleet tracking, like we discussed earlier, tram tracking again, remote site surveys, agriculture. Agriculture is one of the major industry where the IoT is used the most. So some of the advantages of IoT. So efficient resource utilization. If we know the functionality and the way that each device works, we definitely increase the efficient resources utilization as well as the monitoring natural resources. Excuse me. Minimizing human efforts. As the devices of IoT interact and communicate with each other and do a lot of tasks for us, then they minimize the human effort as well. So time save. As it reduces the human effort, then it will definitely save some time. Time is primarily factor which can save through the IoT platforms. So enhance data collection as well, improve the security. So now if we have a system that all the things are interconnected, we make the system more secure and efficient. So you can think like why disadvantages for IoT. So as the Internet of Things facilitates a set of benefits, it also creates a significant set of challenges again. Some of the IoT challenges are like some common challenges are the security, privacy, and complexity. So overall, IoT has the potential to dramatically increase the availability of information and is likely to transform companies and organizations in virtually every industry around the world. As such, finding a way to leverage the power of the IoT is expected to the factor in the strategic objectives of the more companies, regardless of industrial focus, any other industrial focus. So, the number of different technology requests to support and deployment and further growth of IoT plays a premium on interoperability, and has resulted in widespread efforts to develop standards and technical specification that support seamless communication between IoT devices and components. So, thank, so that's it for today's episode. Thank you for joining and being here. I've tried to explain almost all the concepts of IoT and its uses and applications about it. So in the coming session, that is on Friday, 19th of Friday, 19th of March, Friday again, 4:30 to 5:30. We'll discuss much deeper into IoT in terms of energy sector. So if you people have any questions, you can put it in the chat box, or you can unmute your mic and ask the questions. Hope everyone are clear so far. Okay. See you guys in the next episode. Thanks for joining.